Hello, everyone. Our new um, topic today is the second um, major world religion that developed out of ancient India. And today we're going to be looking at the development of the concepts and basic ideas, philosophies of Buddhism. And to start with, we're going to look at a or listen to me tell a brief story of the uh, way the religion began with the founder of the religion, Siddhartha Gautama. And the story of Siddhartha Gautama is that he was a prince who was born into a royal family in northern India, what is today the borders of northern India and Nepal. And when he was born, there was a prophecy made that he was either going to become a great political leader, a great ruler, or a great religious leader. And his father wanted him to continue the hereditary lines of the royal family. And so his efforts were to prevent the prophecy from becoming fulfilled in a way that he became a religious leader. And what the prophecy was that if Prince Siddhartha saw an old man, a diseased man, a corpse, a man who had died, and a monk in any order, those four in his life, then he would become this religious leader. And so, in order to prevent this, the prince's father locked him away basically to kind of keep him from outside of society, his lockdown. And he gave Prince Siddhartha, his father gave Prince Siddhartha basically anything he could want or desire. He had all this wealth, a beautiful place to live, all the cushy things that you could possibly want. But Prince Siddhartha was never satisfied. He was always felt like there was something missing in his life. And so eventually the prince was able to leave the confines of the royal quarters, the royal palace, and he went out into the world. And he had played around with ideas to try to find meaning in his life, and he tried to follow some of the ideas of Hinduism. And we've talked about Hinduism already, and Hinduism basically has this principles that can require kind of self, um, uh, I guess, regulation of yourself, where you would not try to strive for good things, possessions, or such, as there are a set of followers in Hinduism that are called ascetics, and they basically deprive themselves of everything that they can, where they don't have any possessions. They eat very simply, kind of the idea like a monk might do in other religions, where they're trying to simplify their lives through fasting and so forth. And Prince Siddhartha tried to follow some of those teachings, still was not satisfied. And he saw the predictions out in the world. He met a monk, he saw a person who had died, he saw a man suffering from disease, he saw people in old age, moving into the last parts of their lives, and kind of the sadness of suffering of elderly people maybe moving closer to death. And he basically said, I need to find the answers to what is wrong in the world and what I can do to try to find peace myself. And so what Prince Siddhartha did is he went into a meditation and he said, I'm not going to stop meditating until I find these things. And he had tried to basically fast himself into kind of an understanding through meditation, deprive himself. In fact, there's some images of Prince Siddhartha where he's shown as so thin and so skinny that he was existing on just like a single grain of rice a day. And you'll see images of the prince with just like that single grain kind of protruding through his belly. And all this stuff just was not satisfying him. And when he went into his long meditation, it was during that time that he came up with what are known as the Four Noble Truths. And the Four Noble Truths are pretty straightforward. First truth is that everyone suffers. All people suffer in their life and go through periods of suffering. The second noble truth is that this suffering is caused by desire, basically wanting the things that you cannot have. And that could be something as complex as, a lost family member who's passed away and you miss them, and so it makes you sad and depressed because you know you can't get them back, but you're not satisfied because you want them back. Or it could be a relationship that's failed and you can't get it back and you're suffering because you can't get the things that you want. And all this is a desire that you're trying to fulfill. So the third noble truth is that if you can end your desire, wanting the things that you cannot have, then you can end your suffering. And then the fourth noble truth is to do this, you follow the Eightfold Path. And the Eightfold Path is what's shown over here in this diagram. And then I'll put it here on this screen, maybe it show up you a little bit better. You follow this path of trying to create a lessening of desire. So you can see the different kind of phrasing here, that you should search for the truth. You should not hurt people. You should meditate. You should keep your mind on controlled thoughts and resist bad things, resist evil. Work to help others. Respect all life. The idea of maybe becoming like a vegetarian. There's a big concept within that, within Buddhism. And you can see this kind of phrase this way: with right mind, right view, right intentions, right speech. I always think of it kind of simplified down into right thoughts, right words, and right actions. Good thoughts, good words, and good actions. And those became the basic principles of the foundations of Buddhism. And when Siddhartha was able to come to this understanding of the Four Noble Truths, he reached the level of what is called like perfect enlightenment, or I'm sure you're familiar or have heard the term of nirvana. And that's what Buddhist meditation allows people to reach, a spiritual state of understanding and enlightenment. So that's the basic principles behind Buddhism. This idea developed in India after Hinduism, obviously, and it didn't catch hold right away. It was eventually adopted by one of the later Indian rulers, a ruler by the name of Ashoka, and I'll leave a screencast for you to watch about him a little bit later. And when he adopted the ideas spread quite a bit through India and into other places outside India. But eventually, Buddhism never really grabbed hold in India for a really long period of time. It was eventually pushed back out by Hindu beliefs, but it spread to other areas, Southeast Asia, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, those areas, Thailand into those areas, into Sri Lanka, into Nepal, into Tibet. And I'm going to have you guys watch a documentary about Buddhism in Tibet that will give you some other concepts about the religion. So, hope you found that interesting, and I'll have some other things for you to read and to watch about Buddhism. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.